Hey everybody, Brian Von Vier here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today, what is the most powerful monster in D&D 5th edition? We're starting this off with the Teras, which is an evil creature feared across the material plane for its destructive power. It's neither good nor evil, it's merely a wild beast that destroys and consumes all in its path. This monster has the highest HP of any monster in the game. Its strength and constitution scores are both 30, the highest you can have in 5th edition. Its armor class is 25, and it's immune to fire, poison, bludgeoning, slashing, piercing damage, all from non-magical weapons. If you think you're going to be able to deal with it with magic, well, good luck. This bad boy has magical resistance against spells and other magical effects. Oh, and if you try to hit it with Magic Missile, which is a ranged attack spell, or a spell that attacks in a line, there is an 83% chance that nothing happens. Oh, the other 17%? You'll get your spell reflected right back at you instead. Its other attribute scores are low, as its dexterity, wisdom, and charisma are all 11, and its intelligence is a measly 3. But it still has decent saving throws for those stats since its max CR gives the Teras a +9 proficiency bonus to apply to its weaker saves. Now don't bother trying to hit it with spells or effects that require strength saves unless you're attacking this guy during tier 3 or 4 play, because a standard 13th level character with a 20 in their casting stat has a spell save DC lower than this thing's save bonus. And that is just its defenses. We haven't even mentioned its offense yet. It has a multi-attack where it can use its frightful presence to try to scare the piss out of your party and make them scared of it for 1 minute. Like they're not already scared shitless of this thing as it is. Then it makes 5 attacks, 1 with its bite, 2 with claws, 1 with its horns, and 1 with its tail. Or it can use its swallow attack, if it already has someone in its mouth. And all of these are made at a +19 to hit. And they roll 4 dice for damage, except the swallow attack, which multiplies that by 4 to give you 16d6 to throw at your player. Not the character, the player, because the character's probably dead already. Just throw the dice at the player. They're gonna need them to roll up a new character anyway. And just when you thought you were through, it has legendary resistances to autosave on failed saves and legendary actions, so it can attack multiple times in a round if it wants. While the Teras may appear daunting at first glance, its reputation in the world of D&D often overstates its true menace. Despite being portrayed as a terrifying force of destruction, this monstrous behemoth can prove less formidable than its legend suggests. The crux of the issue lies in its reliance on melee combat exclusively, lacking any form of ranged attack. While it can dispatch a high-level character in a single round of combat, the true challenge lies in bridging the distance to engage it. This discrepancy in threat level is primarily due to the absence of stat-draining abilities, which, in earlier editions, could swiftly incapacitate the Teras due to its low intelligence. In the 4th edition, a new defensive capability was introduced to the Teras, preventing players from taking flight within its vicinity, countering any attempts to hover out of reach and chip away at it. However, this protective measure is absent in the 5th edition. If your character possesses any form of flight ability, the Teras becomes virtually powerless to harm you. Though direct magical targeting is ineffective, clever adventurers can rely on spells with area of effect damage, or utilize non-magical ranged attacks, as the Teras lacks any protection against such attacks, provided they are made with magical weapons, of course. It's also important to note that the Teras is impervious to fire damage, rendering many powerful spells ineffective. However, the game still offers potent alternatives like Cone of Cold that don't rely on fire. Additionally, its resistance to physical damage from non-magical sources should not be a major concern, as any well-prepared party of melee characters at high levels should have procured magical weapons, which makes this resistance a trivial obstacle. Sol Kesh, known as the Keeper of Secrets and Queen of Shadows, is a formidable enemy. Hailing from the Eberron setting, she is one of the Overlords, a group of powerful immortal fiends who once ruled the world and could not be destroyed due to being embodiments of pure evil. Instead, they were sealed away. Sol Kesh in particular embodies the fears and mysteries surrounding magic. The Overlords are currently imprisoned in the setting, and her stat block reflects what might happen if they were ever set free. Her challenge rating is officially 28. You could make the argument that she deserves a rating of 30 due to her immense power. Giving her a +1 to all of her attacks from the increased proficiency bonus probably wouldn't make her any deadlier, because her attacks aren't exactly the reason she's deadly as she is. Sol Kesh is a mage-type enemy, with an extensive spell list that sets her apart from many high-end monsters. Just the list of spells she can cast at will is scary enough. Counterspell, Dispel Magic, Detect Thoughts, Eye Bite, Fireball, Lightning Bolt, and Shield. Additionally, she can use certain spells 3 times a day, such as Mass Suggestion, Dream, and Chain Lightning. To top it all off, once per day, she can cast Foresight to turn herself into Nick Cage from the movie Next, gate the GTFO to another plane of existence, or call someone through to help her from the other plane. Teleport and Power Word Kill. That's not an or, by the way. She can cast all 4 of those in the same day. She also boasts magical resistance, legendary resistances, and her list of damage and condition resistances and immunities are longer than the Teras's. She can also polymorph herself at will. In combat, Sol can make up to 6 ranged attacks in one turn. While her attacks themselves aren't exceptionally potent, her true danger lies in her other abilities. She can use 2 legendary actions for her Consume Magic action, targeting a creature concentrating on a spell. This compels them to make a DC 26 Constitution save or lose concentration, with Sol gaining 5 temporary hit points for each level of the interrupted spell. Holy hell, that is terrifying. But none of that is what gets her on this list. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. All that's terrifying enough. What should we do next? What gets her on this list is one of the most unique attacks in all of 5th edition, Arcane Cataclysm. This power creates 3 40-foot radius orbs that deal 11d12 force damage on a failed save. However, what makes this attack truly menacing is that the orbs will persist and act like a massive anti-magic field. This field nullifies all spells and magical effects except those from deities or artifacts, rendering all magic useless inside the radius. Well, that sounds bad until you see Sol Kesh move into the middle of one of these anti-magic fields and Power Word Kill the Barbarian, who just got knocked under 100 HP. That's right, her own spells are not affected by Arcane Cataclysm, allowing her to remain basically invulnerable inside one of the orbs. You can't hit her, but she can hit you as much as she wants, for a whole hour. Somewhere in the distance, I can hear Captain America saying, "I could do this all day." Ooh! Although she is nearly invincible, there are ways to deal with her. Artifacts that retain their power within an anti-magic field, that's pretty much a good given right there. So a party that knows they're going up against her could take the time to acquire what they need and not find themselves powerless against her. If the party has a cleric, they might petition their god through divine intervention to negate the effects of Arcane Cataclysm, or perhaps use a wish spell to do so. But no matter what, you're going to have a rough fight on your hands if you go against this fiend. Tmat, the god of evil chromatic dragons, is not just a dragon, but a formidable deity. In the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, her followers attempt to summon her into the world, and the player's mission is to prevent this summoning. However, it's crucial to weaken Tmat before confronting her in combat, as facing her directly without preparation is likely to result in a total party wipe. Tmat also makes an appearance in the Descent to Avernus campaign, where she isn't the main antagonist. In this campaign, players do not have the option to engage in combat with her. In fact, attempting to fight her near her lair is described as suicidal in the campaign book. You know somebody tried to do it anyway. Instead, players have the unique opportunity to convince her to aid them. Even if combat with Tmat were possible, it wouldn't align with the player's goals in the campaign. Much like the Teras, Tmat is immune to physical damage from non-magical weapons and shares the same immunity to damage types associated with evil dragons, such as fire, acid, cold, lightning, and poison. Tmat also regains 30 hit points each turn, making her challenging to defeat. And she can also negate any spells of 6th level or lower used on her. While the Teras has 3 legendary resistances, Tmat has 5. Her armor class is as high as the Teras, and she boasts maximum strength and constitution. Her intelligence, wisdom, charisma, all are nearly at their maximum, and though her dexterity score is only 10, her lowest save is still rolled with a +9 bonus. A dragon's frightful presence is already bad enough. Tiamat's version, however, has twice the usual radius and requires a DC 26 wisdom saving throw, making it challenging for characters with lower wisdom scores to resist. Like the Teras, Tiamat's attacks are all rolled with a +19 to hit. She makes 3 attacks with each rolling 4 dice for damage. While these dice are smaller, D6s and D8s, they count as magic weapons for the purpose of overcoming resistance. The bulk of Tiamat's damage output comes from her legendary actions, of which she can take up to 5. These actions include her bite attacks, which roll 4 D10s for damage and an additional 4 D6 corresponding to the damage of a dragon's breath weapon. Yeah, let's not forget the breath weapon there. Tiamat, as a dragon deity, possesses the breath weapon of each chromatic dragon. Using these breath weapons costs 2 legendary actions, and she can only use 2 at a time. The damage for each breath weapon is substantial. Acid is 15d8, cold 16d8, poison 22d6, lightning 16d10, and fire 26d6. Players can make a dexterity or constitution saving throw to reduce the damage, depending on which breath weapon she uses, but good luck beating that save of 27. Now, typically a dragon must wait to recharge their breath weapon, with a 5 or 6 on a d6 indicating the recharge. However, Tiamat can use her breath weapons as long as she has legendary actions to spend, making her even deadlier than a chromatic dragon at the ancient level. In total, Tiamat can attack 6 times in one turn, and her average damage output is likely to exceed 300 damage in each turn, which easily surpasses the hit points of all but the tankiest level 20 characters. The area of effect nature of her breath weapons means she can deal over 400 damage by hitting multiple characters. As a final twist, Tiamat is considered a fiend rather than a dragon deity. This means that if the players have Dragon Slayer weapons, they won't deal additional damage to her. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know down in the comments below. What do you think is the most powerful monster in D&D 5th edition? All the love, we'll see you next time, bye for now.